Got 10 seconds remaining. Looks like it's going to be a draw. Looks like it's heading for a draw. Maguire down the line. North. Oh! Ryan Hall! Ryan Hall scores the lead and wins the league leading
Hi, folks, and welcome to the Lot Pod. Strap yourselves in. It's now time for another match review panel.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Lot Pod, the Leeds Rhinos Lot 17A podcast, kindly brought to you by our sponsors, ACD&B, who are a branding and creative design agency based in Farsley, Leeds. They create standout brands, so if any companies out there need a new brand refresh, new logo, anything design-based, just head over to ACD&B. And as always, thanks a lot for their support, in supporting the podcast, in everything they've thrown into the fanzine, which looks incredible, and I can't wait for everyone to get their hands on that. This is the match review panel for Catalans versus Leeds. Joining me, as always, for this one is
Stat.
Freeze.
Finally
remembered to do it.
remembered to use. Yeah, sorry, John. We finally remembered to use. Now that we know how to use the soundboard and that we have a soundboard, we finally remembered to use Josh's amazing intro for Statman Reese. How are you, Reese? How have you been the last half an hour?
Yeah. Just been stewing over that. I always find it weird when, I say always, it's only the second time we've done it, but when we record the same evening as the game, I feel like I hadn't had time to fully digest what's happened, really. But yeah, my immediate reaction is just, really?
Mine too.
Yeah.
For those wondering, me and Reese live streamed the game, and so we
us watching the game.
Us live streamed us watching the watch along type thing, which we thought was a good idea.
Not doing it again now.
Maybe not in the end. So we've just come back off 2 hours recording that. We've had a half an hour break. I haven't digested the game. It's still at the forefront of my mind. The only thing I've digested is some food, which I've thrown down my neck in half an hour. I don't know. I agree with you. It does feel kind of weird that the game's so fresh in your mind when you record.
Yeah, I mean,
like the day of.
You always say positives, and I'm for the last 10 minutes ago. Positives. And they're going, we were better in the second half. We were better in the second half.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't have given them 28.6 lead.
No.
And that's a simple part of it. And anyone that watched the watch along, anyone that will go back and people can find it, we lost our shit at points in that second half. And it's funny because earlier on in that half, we were talking about how the match review panel and the disciplinary process has driven appealing, and it's driven that nature of fans to do it and players. But I'm not saying the referee changed the game, because I don't think we shouldn't have.
But the referee changed the game.
We shouldn't have been 28-6 down in the first place.
No, I agree with that.
And if we lose the game and Farre gets sin binned and potentially Castellan, I'm not sure if it's quite a sin bin, definitely a penalty and not a knock on. But like, if Farre gets sin binned and we still lose, then fine, we lost. If they get banned in after that, it just annoys me because it doesn't have an outcome on the game, which is annoying. But I think the crux of it is we let them score too many easy tries. We have seen some great goal line defense this year, not this year. While Swearen's been here, and it wasn't there in the first. Was it the Mitchell Pearce one where Sam Walters was just completely sidestepped?
Yeah, stepping in with him.
Yeah.
In terms of positives, the only thing I've got written down here is Reece Martin's goal kicking record continues.
Yeah, that continues. And the other thing I said was we've got the loss out of our system.
Yes.
I'm not, I'd rather have still.
That's the last loss of the year, everybody.
I'd rather would have lost. Not lost at all, and won't confirm the playoffs today. But if we were going to lose at any point for the rest of the season, today was the day to do it.
That's the one. Yeah,
that's the one in Cass, so it's fine.
Yeah, we'll still beat them. And the other thing I've got written down here in terms of positives is Sam Walters. I thought you mentioned him there in his mistaken defence, and I kind of mentioned it in the watch along as well, that I thought he ran well, and I disagree with Barry. I know Barry was on this very podcast saying he preferred him on the edge and sees him there like as a second row, but I just think with his frame and good off-season, 18 months, 2 years, this guy, could be a full prop that we are kind of all angling for and missing. I thought he went well today again at prop. I think Rowan sees a lot in this guy, kind of trusts him.
Well, he starts him at prop.
Yeah.
I know that's probably because we don't have many. But he started him at prop over Pryor. So that must say something, or it says something about one of them, either way. But yeah, he did carry exceptionally well, and he took his try exceptionally well as well. He took 2-3 over with him. But he was at fault. He was a bit static in defence at some points, and that he was wrong-footed a couple of times, which proved costly for one try, certainly. But no, he was definitely a positive. I was trying to think of any other players that had a bit of Hardacre had a tough time today, I thought. We had
a tough time. James Bentley, tough time.
Yeah, we had 7 goal line dropouts today. A lot of defending. Paul Briscoe spent more time turning around, putting the ball down in his own try line than he did going forward. And Cass came out. Oh, Cass, Jesus. God, this has been a long day. Catalans came out firing. That was probably the best start they've had for a long time this season, I thought. Robbie's just asking, do you think Pryor is finished as a Leeds player? He's not offering more than Walters, I don't think, today. I mean, there must be a reason that Rowan started Walters over Pryor.
I think because Pryor got the 2-year deal off the back of his amazing form last year, didn't he? Where everyone were like, and he was playing really well, really, really well, and he did deserve another deal. But like we've said I have, and some other guests have, can't remember Reese's opinion, but it tells in a minute that I feel it's a year too far now for Matt. And I do think that there should be some kind of, they both come to terms, the club and Matt, to say, let's call this a day now. So I do think
a gentleman's agreement.
Yes, well put. Those are the words.
That's what I used to say when I was going into a scrum playing reviews. Gentleman's agreement, lads. Con. The game's already won. Don't need to try it.
Yeah, don't try anything funny. But yeah, and I think, that's not just because we got beat either, Robbie. We've been, me, myself personally, and others, guests on here, a couple of our regulars and other new guests have kind of said similar, that they do think it's, it should be Matt's last year, and I think it will be, to be honest.
I mean, don't let it take it away from Matt has been a great player for us.
No, it's been
with us. He's worked really hard, and last year he was phenomenal.
Oh, last year was one of the players of the year, and obviously got his deal off the back of that.
There was points today where it almost looked like he was walking into contact, and there was one point.
Yeah, you mentioned that on the live stream, didn't you? Watch along.
Yeah, he was walked into contact, and also at one point, I remember we kicked it out. I think we kicked it out, and Cassiano had it, and the first person to go meet him was Jared O'Connor. And that's Jared all over. He'll go and make a tackle regardless. Yeah. However,
we love Jared.
Why isn't there a prop there? I want a prop that runs the ball in like Cassiano does, or Passy at St. Helens.
Yeah,
and for majority of the time, how Aledzki runs the ball in. So yeah, I do think it's time for Pryor probably to.
Robbie makes a good point as well, that Matt Pryor's wife's expecting a baby too.
Right.
And whenever these things, the baby things, tend to become prominent with overseas players, don't they? Like whenever they're having a baby, you're always like,
yeah. And right,
is it now that
family does come first? I know for Leeds fans, especially when you lose a good player, you don't want to lose your good players. But I think we'd all say family comes first, regardless when you take a step back. But yeah, I don't think Pryor looked good today. I don't think really anyone stood out really, other than Sam Walters in attack. I'm not sure there's another player I could really put a positive in, which is strange because we scored 3 tries.
Yeah.
And you say recent miss a kick, that's a positive. But yeah, there wasn't. I can't really put a player. If you ask me for a player in the match, I'm really going to struggle from a Rhinos perspective.
It's Reece Martin for me. Thought
Probably
best,
again, yeah,
best of a bad bunch, and obviously keeping his kicking records impressive. And he has been our player of the year. But I thought he was the one who showed up more than most, really. But it was an incredibly, I don't know. It was a dour first half because we're so poor, like Reece said.
First 10 minutes, wasn't it? And then we got back into it. You thought, oh, hang on, right, we're making a game at this.
Yeah. And
then Cassiano comes on, and then I said it in the watch along. You can't let a guy like that build up a head of steam. I know, and we seem to have this tactic of standing off, but it's much easier to tackle him when he gets the ball rather than when he's had a 10-meter run up at you.
Yeah. And he's got that momentum.
Yeah.
And his legs are pumping.
He must have made, 5, 6 offloads today?
Yeah.
I think on the hour mark, he'd made 120 metres already. Or something like that.
Just despair. Really.
Yeah.
But then
there was a lot to shout about.
The one hour watch along kind of went from a place of relative calm and understanding. And then as it progressed, it was like, better for me.
We lost
a lot
it
of effing and jeffing. And
we lost it at Dean Farray, I think. That's when it went. That's when it went pear-shaped for both of us.
Well, we'll have to talk about that. Dean Farray just comes flying out the line when Lehman. It's a pass, isn't it? Yeah, it's a pass. He's not even kicking it.
What
hits him late?
I know we all like contests. We like hard hits and stuff, but it's the consistency that annoys me. Like RFL, pick a rule, pick your consistency, and apply it. Because I said it on the watch along. None of those yellow cards last week were anywhere near as bad as what Dean Farray did. Anywhere near bad. And if he had the ball, that's a penalty. So why, when he's off the ball? I'm surprised Leeming stayed on the pitch, to be honest, because he looked
in agony.
Agony, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
And I think it's because he hasn't hit the head. That's why they're saying it's okay. Although the match review panel may say different.
He'll get a ban.
Because if Caesar gets a ban for what he did, then that's a ban, surely. And hopefully it's 2 games, because Graham's saying now, if we are to finish in the top 6, who would you prefer to play, Giants away or Catalan away?
I'm not bothered.
Well, I think at the moment, if Salford win and we win, we'll be 6th.
Yeah.
So we'll probably play Giants.
Giants away.
And we've got our loss out of the way, Graham, so it don't matter now.
Doesn't matter, Graham. We're going all the way, regardless.
It's not the old playoff system where you can lose a game and still carry on. No, it's all right. We've got the loss at our system and we're going to go through. But yeah, Robbie, exactly right. There's no consistency. And if that was Zane or James Bentley, again, as Robbie says, you could have guaranteed that to be the yellow.
Easily. Some player, James Bentley, probably in a red if it were James.
Yeah, it's just the consistency throughout the game, not just against us, it's not a game alone. I just don't understand. And if that was in February, back in the beginning of the season, that's a red, isn't it? Isn't it? Compared to some of the cards we saw at the beginning of the season, that'd be a red in the beginning of the season. So it's just this consistency piece. And this is what, again, part of that survey. I wish I could fill it in again now.
Just go back with a new email, Reese.
Yeah. I haven't done it on my Alan Fleece one, actually. I'll do that.
There you go.
Pick a rule, train your refs, apply it.
Simple as that.
But where's, again, and there's the other thing I tweet about, what's the point in having a video referee? If a video referee is there to
review to review essentially what the ref on the field has missed.
Yeah.
And yet he's not reviewing it. Or he's looking at it and saying, yeah, that's fine. When everyone watching it knows it isn't.
Exactly. And refereeing is not easy. Refereeing a live game is not easy. Mistakes will happen. That's why video refs came in the first place, didn't they?
Yeah, to help, to assist.
And the other one with Cassiano clotheslining Dwyer, who then goes off of a HIA, fails it, and is now off but for a cheap shot for nothing. When there was about five different replays of it. So, yeah. But, again, I'm moaning about it, and that's fine, because I like to have a moan, and I think I'm rightly moaning. But that's not the reason we lost. We lost because...
Not the reason we lost.
We were not good enough in the first half.
The first half, pretty much killed us off. But I thought we were kind of, not we, I don't know, I can't remember, on the watch along. I got stuck into Brad Dwyer because he knocked it on, didn't he? A front play of the ball. And I was kind of saying, this is why he's leaving the club, because we were trying to get momentum in the game and Dwyer knocks it on from the play of the ball. Thankfully, we got the ball back. He went up.
Yeah, that was quite funny. That was
brilliant.
I haven't seen a knock on at the back of a scrum for a while. I had a little laugh at that.
Knock on, then a knock on effect, and then he scored, didn't he, Dwyer, to kind of claw us back into it a bit. I thought he took his try rather well, but that's a classic Brad Dwyer try, don't you think? That kind of scoot.
And I actually think that's the part of him we'll miss. I know we've all got our opinion of Brad, and for me, I love his running ability. I love how he can change a game and bring pace. But we saw the other side of Brad earlier on where he fumbled it from the back of the play of the ball. And his pass, if you were a hooker in rugby league, passing is quite a strong part of your game.
Your bread and butter, your job.
Yeah. That's the bit you shouldn't be failing on. So, but he did get that try, and he was making some runs, and he was changing the game. And to be honest, Catalans are a sort of team where Brad will always thrive against because they're not. I don't think they're the fittest. So I think he would have been. It's a shame he couldn't stay on. But yeah, that game showed both sides of Brad, I think.
So Brad failed his HIA, so he's going to miss.
I think so, yeah. So that's 10 days. So he'll miss Cass.
He'll miss Cass. Is it going to be a big loss? Are we going to see Corey Johnson in there?
I don't think we will, because you've got Caesar back.
Austin.
Hopefully Hanley back. Austin back. Obviously Sinfield will drop out.
What about Fussy Tua?
Fussy Tua should be back. Hopefully.
He's back as well. So we do have.
Yeah.
We do have loads back there.
Players coming back, so I suspect it'll be Leeming with O'Connor on the bench, most likely. It depends if Cam's back, because if Cam's fit, he'll come in at loose or come on the bench. So I don't think if he is, yes, we'll miss him because you missed that injection of pace, but hopefully it'll serve as a good rest for him for the playoffs.
Yeah, bring him in for the playoffs. Daniel says Brad was on the pitch at the end of the game. So is it
right? I must have missed that.
Failed.
I must have missed it, Daniel.
We've missed that. You know more than us there.
I thought he'd failed it because I didn't see him come back on. So Daniel, you're probably right.
Might be right.
To be fair, with 5 minutes after they scored, I wasn't watching the game. I was I'd stopped.
We're too busy running away then.
Yeah, I was.
We'd gone by that point.
Yeah, my attention span had gone.
The watch along were just like silent.
It was. Robbie's asking is Corey Johnson or Jared Connor? Oh, who's your understudy next year for Leeming? Corey Johnson or Jared O'Connor?
I think it's a bit of both, but I think in that Rowan kind of putting Jared in there, I do think he sees him kind of playing that kind of role that he has been moving forward, to be honest. So I think it will be a case of both. I know Corey's had his injury problems, and I do think Corey's got the quality there to...
I don't think he's ready yet. And I think
but whether he's
Corey's
ready...
Corey's your long-term solution.
Yeah.
And Jared's
might spell each other alongside Liam.
Yeah, but Jared has got his versatility where he can play loose. And him playing hooker and developing that side of his game will only benefit his loose forward play anyway. So I think potentially Corey's your long-term replacement and Jared's just a utility versatility that you can put on
just to drop in there.
When we had and hooker.
And hooker. When we had Jared on the podcast, it's available now, by the way, on Spotify and iTunes and YouTube. We asked him that question about playing hooker and what he more comfortable in and what he prefers to play. And he did say loose forward, so but he did say he's also enjoying the role and how playing hooker and how it's adapted his game and changing his game. So probably a mixture of both, Robbie. But leave us a comment. Let us know in the live chat how you guys feel. This is live on YouTube as well as being recorded for Spotify and iTunes.
Live chat's really busy tonight, which is great.
Yeah, really busy. It's good to see. Cassiano killed us as always. I think we've kind of touched it before, but that kind of in that that non-existent line speed that we have is built for props like Cassiano, Pass, Walmsley. Walmsley in this current setup, I don't know. I do think it would be quite interesting just to see how Walmsley, obviously being in the opposition, but how we'd react to him, because usually he just racks up.
I mean, it worked a treat against Wigan, didn't it? I mean, Wigan are on the table, the second best team in the league, and it worked a treat against them. But they don't have the forward power that I think St. Helens, or sometimes you can argue Catalan do.
Catalan, yeah.
Cassiano, he destroyed us. He was the man of the match, other than these clothesline and Brad Dwyer. He was the man of the match, really. I don't know. Who did he give it to? Again, I wasn't paying attention after they scored their try at the end.
No, I'd say my ass back then, so I won't bother to spat my dummy out. Someone in the live comments will tell us who was the player.
Robbie, Daniel, Andrew was doing all the spoilers earlier. But yeah, if someone could tell us who got man of the match, that'd be appreciated. But yeah,
I agree what you said. Sorry, there's a comment here from Robbie. I agree what you said. Johnson is back up for me, and Jared is more utility. Yeah, I agree with that too. It's good to have these. It's good for us as fans and Rowan to have these kind of issues. You know, I would much rather have Jared and Corey kind of flitting in between, both given a chance, than Brad Dwyer.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Mitchell Pearce got man of the match, by the way. I said to you before the game, after the watch along, Gale was saying before the game that what shocked him most when he came to Leeds was the strength in depth and versatility they had with the young lads there. And that was when he obviously first joined. So I think it is a strength of ours. And hopefully with some of the signings that we've got coming in, only going to get stronger.
I'm not sure about Daryl Alfertz. We were kind of talking about it on the watch along. I'm not entirely sure about
there's a
that.
question about there's a question about that in the mailbag.
Is there?
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
we better save it then. We don't want to jump the gun.
Mailbag.
Just as a side note for people watching, this is strictly for the people watching. I'm just a floating head here.
Oh yeah, and me opening a can earlier was a Diet Coke, not a pint can of San Miguel.
It wasn't his line to you. It was a purple tin
like
of
a floating head. It's like you got a really weird green screen.
Just for those, I'm wearing a black t-shirt with like a black backdrop. When I put my arms down, I'm just a bald floating head. I was just chuckling at earlier. You might have seen me chuckling, just sat back when Reece was talking. I was just laughing like I'm literally just a floating head.
We'll have to we'll clip it and put it on later. Daniel, we did see how slow Alfertz was. We're going to cover it. We'll cover it in the mailbag.
We're going to cover Daryl Alfertz in the mailbag. We've got a lot to say about that.
I'll laugh a bit more, and I'll be in a better mood by the time we get to the mailbag. So,
and I'll be more drunk off that 8% can he's just opened.
Yeah.
Anything else to say on what was the score?
32-18 to Catalan, I think it was.
Yeah.
Was there any part of you? The question I was going to ask about the game when Myler goes over for their try, and then who scored a third try? Dwyer. And Dwyer gets that try. Was there a little part? Now I know you were in delusion land, and you like to obviously
Captain Delusion
praise your in Rowan we trust. But how was there a little part of you going? It's happening again.
Yeah, absolutely. I just felt that there were like a small, not a large period, but a small period in that game where the momentum were kind of slowly edging towards us, and then you're absolutely right. In the first half, killed us, and I know it's if, buts, what ifs, maybes. What about that? And I am gonna. What about it? I am gonna kind of touch on it a bit, but where this call gets binned, that's 10 minutes, them to 13. That's the momentum to us even more. We continually pump forward. Catalan are definitely then thinking, Jesus Christ, is this happening again? And then Cassiano gets binned. I'm not sure on the time split between whether they would have gone down to 12 or whether they'd have been down to 13 again, but then there's still a man down. And then if we'd have scored in that period where they were down to 13, Cassiano gets binned with more momentum. I know it's what ifs, maybes, but
if Dean Farry gets a sin bin, the thing with Cassiano probably doesn't happen. And I can't.
Yeah.
What's the line in about? Is it Endgame when they talk about you can't the future, the present, and all that? I can't remember what the line is now. But yeah, if Dean Farry gets binned, that does change. And as I said, if we still don't win after that, fine.
exactly, yeah, fine. But it's still. It's the incorrect decision that kills you, isn't it? You're like, why, you know?
And then if they get the annoying bit is at the next match review panel, if they get banned, I was like, well, in fact, if they get banned for 2 games, I actually don't mind. That's fine.
That would be some justice.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think we're going to be playing them now, actually, because now we've lost that. If we beat Cass and
if we beat Cass, well, we are going to beat Cass. Sorry, you got me saying
sorry. When we beat Cass. We'll be 6 if Salford win as well. And I don't know who Salford got on their last day. It'd be Warrington or something like that.
No, is it Wigan?
Oh, well, they'll just play a bloody B team though, won't they?
Is it Wigan? Thinking out loud.
No, they're playing Warrington.
Oh, of course they are.
And we're going to talk about them in the Super League roundup because that's when I start feeling better about myself.
We've got our own section. We've had it for all year, specifically for Darryl Powell.
But you are right, though. Like there is a bit in your mind that goes, if that yellow card is given, how does it change the game? How does that momentum keep going? Because that was on the 50, our own 10.
Yeah.
We kick it, we start a set of 6 and a 40, a man down. They're a man down. We've got the extra space. They're tired, fat forwards. It's like there is a very big possibility that we could have got on and won it.
Absolutely. And it's times like these where I love like coaches like Rowan Smith and any coach in any sport really that I watch and follow that isn't like a moaning twat, like Darryl Powell and
mention it.
Ian Watson. I bet there is times where, like Marcelo Bielsa at United, there were times where I thought, I know that you're really honourable and and trustworthy and you say the right things and I love that about you, but there's just times where I just kind of wish they'd say, what the fuck was that referee thinking? But
there's the explicit tag we need to put on Spotify.
Yeah, there it is. That I think you're allowed one F-bomb for it to be PG. I just wish that times it's kind of say, just break out and say, what the
but he didn't mention it in his post-match interview.
That's just how classy he is. I mean, did you see who were I tweeting about in the week? Ian Watson? What is Ian Watson? No, Paul Rowley. Ian Watson? Yeah. Moaning and moaning and moaning. Oh, my God. Do my nothing. Like Darryl Powell. Oh, they did this and they did that. Like, just get over it. You lost the game. So that kind of moaning to me is for us to do as fans. That what about them things.
My dad's literally just texted me saying, cannot believe how that player was not sin-binned.
That's a podcast in itself, that.
Yeah. No, you're right. Rowan didn't say anything, so that I
didn't say anything. It's classy. He's a classy guy, and I kind of. Yeah.
And rightly, he said we lost the game in the first half because we conceded 20 points, which is correct. But no, nothing else to me in that one. Obviously, I haven't got the stats because we're professional and we're doing a match review panel literally right after the game
on a bank holiday Monday evening.
On a bank holiday Monday, that's how committed we are.
Commitment, unbelievable.
But yeah, no, nothing else. But I think what it does mean is that I reckon we're hopefully, and I really hope it's a Saturday 3:00 kickoff. Headingley should be absolutely booming.
It should be on Saturday.
And that will be, I know it's characteristic or stereotypical or whatever the word is, phrases, but whatever sport, 12th man, 16th man, 14th man, that will matter. Bloody hell, I can't speak tonight. That'll matter massively.
8% beer.
It's 5%. It's not a girl, surprisingly. It's only a second one. But that will massive. Oh, God. That'll matter massively.
Come on, everyone in live chat, everyone listening to Spotify, get behind him. Come on, Reece, you can say it. Come on.
Having a big crowd on Saturday will matter massively.
There we go. There we go. I think there will be a big crowd, to be honest. I really do, because it's these type of games where people in Leeds and
West Yorkshire derby, playoff chances.
Yeah.
Why would you want to go?
Yeah. Sun will be shining. Afternoon. Big crowd. What is our biggest of the year? What it Wigan?
Salford.
What it?
Yeah, because it was a family day.
Ah. I reckon we'll beat that Saturday.
Yeah, we haven't hit 15 yet this year.
We'll beat 15 Saturday. Saturday,
fair,
I'll say we're looking. I reckon we'll get 18 Saturday.
Be good if we could, because I mean, did you see the Wigan Saints attendance?
Yeah, unbelievable. What, 23,
19,
24? 19. Oh my God,
yeah.
worse than giving them too much.
Which is, as I don't like them, but fair play to them because we haven't seen a crowd like that this season. But yeah, no, for the Catalan game, nothing else from me on that one.
Yeah, wrap it up. We lost. It's the last loss of the year. I won't worry too much about everybody, but from here onwards.
I think we feel like you say Dan Maguire. Sorry.
Since you bought that bell, I've not said him.
I know. It's £5 that.
Better start saying him. Are we going into club news, Super League news?
We'll do Super League news since in that round. So results from today, they feel a bit squinted really because obviously some teams played their B team, but it started yesterday with Hull beaten Toulouse 38-12. Saints then lost 34-18 to Wakefield, but Saints pretty much played a B team. KR beat Wigan 38-28. Again, Wigan played it. Wigan played a B team there pretty much, but our new signing McDonnell scored in that game. Interestingly, haven't seen it yet, but hopefully we'll see it. Salford stuffed Cass. Stuffed them 50 points to 10. Salford were incredible in that first 15 minutes. I genuinely think Salford are the team to beat at the moment.
Really? You don't think it's us?
If I took my Rhinos hat off, my Bias off, I would say, yeah.
Never take it off. It's stitched onto your head.
Keep it on, so no, but because we beat them. But I generally think they are the form team going in. They are playing some phenomenal rugby at the moment.
They are, and that's the thing that surprised me most, really, because when Paul Rowley was Lee head coach and Toronto, he were awful. In the brand of rugby they played were awful. So when Salford went to him for the head coach, I was kind of thinking,
yeah, especially after the success of Ian Watson as well.
Precisely, that is a big step down, just in terms of like style of play. But no, they are banging form, and I think it was the last pod that we were talking about. Someone asked us in the mailbag who the Man of Steel might be.
Yeah.
And I only saw brief glimpses of this game, Salford cast today. But Brodie Croft is unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
It is. One interesting comment about Cass actually I saw on Twitter earlier was when Cass have got the backs against the wall, they either put in a resolute performance or they lose by 50, 60 points. I think playing us, their mindset will be slightly different. And then obviously we lost 32-18, but we saved the best results to last here. We always like to finish on a high, don't we?
Yep. It's like the dirt.
So in the latest episode of How Does Daryl Powell Still Have a Job? Huddersfield 38, Warrington 36. I mean, to be fair, they were losing 32-10 and came back. Dufty got 4 tries. But as redv.net tweeted, Warrington are now officially the worst English team in Super League. Because they have had 11th place confirmed after Wakey's win today, and they're lost.
Wakey
which, again, poses the question. Well, poses the question and the answer. The question is, how the fuck does Darryl Powell still have a job? And 2, give him a life-term contract.
Yeah, just keep him there. I remember like Alan Pardew football, but Alan Pardew got like 5 wins in a row for Newcastle years ago, and they gave him like an 8-year deal. Well, Warrington, if you are listening, this guy's doing a fantastic job. Keep him.
They must think he is because they have like any other. I think even with Wakefield had that. I think maybe not Toulouse, but if Wakefield had the run of form they'd have considered changing.
Every other club in the country would do it at any level, really.
It's just
at any level, because you think we're stuck in a rut like we did. You know, you're stuck in a rut. You're playing rubbish. You can't see any positivity. Right, let's try. First of all, let's try out the head coach. They're out the door. Bring the new guy in. We've had a massive wave of positivity and everything to Rowan. They've kept with Powell. And we've pulled us apart all year and still asking, how is Darryl Powell still in the job? How?
Yeah. We may eat our words next year because obviously they made some signings. Duffy seems to be coming into form, but
yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, how he's still got a job, I have no idea. But anyway, it's funny to laugh at. It makes my evening feel better after the result we had today. So.
And hopefully this section of the podcast returns next year.
Oh God. It just genuinely made me happy because I've got a really good mate that's a Warrington fan, and he's just like, he knows what's coming every week, and he just gets so wound up by it, but not at me because he just gets so angry at Warrington.
What's happening here?
But yeah, oh God, funny. But yeah, that's it. Super League wise, obviously table wise, what does that do? It means nothing changes in the top four. It means Saints have got the league leaders shield, so hooray to them.
Well done, Saints.
Well, yeah, whatever. Salford have climbed above us now to 5th, so they're a point above us. We're now 6th, a point above Cass, and then nothing really interesting changes after that, other than Warrington confirmed in 11th. So yeah, club news. The women played in their final game of the regular season on Sunday, but unfortunately they lost to York City Knights. So I think, I know York won the League Leaders Shield. So well done to them. It's been a really good competition, having 3 teams compete it until the last day. Yeah. Historically, it's always been one team's just won everything, but Leeds, York, and St Helens have all beat each other. So it's really good for the game. So really pleased about that just in general. But it does mean the semi-finals happen next weekend, and it means we do get Saints.
Saints away, I think, yeah.
Saints away, I believe.
On Saturday.
Wigan. So that's at 5 o'clock, I believe.
5 o'clock. It's on Sky Sports Arena and Sky Sports Mix. So for people who don't have...
free to air then?
Yeah, people who don't have Sky Sports subscriptions, Sky Sports Mix is free to air, I think so. Watch it.
So, yeah, unfortunately, they did lose. However, I saw Frank Goldthorpe scored some great tries in that.
As always, superstar.
Which is a really good moment to plug our next 2 guests, actually, since we're talking about
it. It is. I've got it highlighted here.
Have you? See, we don't even need to prepare me and you, do we? We're just like this.
We do prepare, people listening to this. There is production value.
But yeah, go on. Do you want to plug our guests that are coming?
It's currently guest. There's no plural as of yet. That might change, but yeah, we mentioned it previously, but we do now have Danica Prim joining us on Wednesday as we record this on Monday evening. She's joining us, so it's brilliant to get Danica on, and she's obviously had a great career at Leeds, and now she's doing great things in punditry with Channel 4 and the BBC. So it'll be amazing to have her on. We have opened a mailbag already for her. We've had loads and loads of interaction, just as popular as Yestin and Barry and Jared. So we're going to fire all them. That is still open until Wednesday. So if you do want to ask Danica a question, at Lot17A, at the Owl and Fleece, Lot17A at Outlook.com. Fire us a question over. We're going to ask as many as we can, similar to the other ones, because just in that, if we don't ask your question, it's probably because we've got others on along a similar line. Like when we had Jared on, Reese will know that we had loads that were like about his dad and Barry. So we kind of just molded all them into like one section of like Barry.
If we can't, sometimes we mold it into the interview as well before we do the mailbag as well. So yeah, please send as many questions across. Danica's had a fantastic rugby league career, and then leading from the front as well, much to some people's dismay.
A trailblazer in the women's game.
Yeah.
So it's great to have her on. And then we have got another current guest coming on, a current Leeds Rhinos women's player in the pipeline, but we just need to confirm that. So before we kind of say on here and give it away, and then it doesn't happen, and we'll get a bit of egg on his face. But it's 99.9% in stone. But we'll wait for it to be confirmed, and then I just don't want to say something, and then people go, "Oh, what happened there?" And then we're working on others as well. But for the moment, yeah, we've got Danica, and then because we are pushing the women's game. We want more involvement. We've had Ewan on from the wheelchair side. Loads of ex-players like Yestin, Paul Cook, Barry, Graham Allroyd, Franny, Marcus Vass, etc. from the ex-players. Jared from the men's side. So to get a current and ex-women's player, we've kind of ticked all the boxes.
And then the last bit from the club news is that they opened, or memberships are getting renewed on Wednesday. Open for renewal on Wednesday.
This is really interesting because
it feels a bit early, doesn't it?
It is early.
Yeah, because I thought, was it later last year? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was. I think it was around November last year that we kind of became active. This is obviously off the back of Rowan and all the good feel, which is fine. But I always kind of delve into the, the bits, the offers and things that they have, and just for people who are kind of who were considering or are considering buying a season ticket, they're available all across the ground. But the club this year, if you are paying via direct debit, previously, I think it was you paid it over 9 months, whereas now, from this season, it's spread over 11. So I'm just giving people a heads up if you're considering or you are doing it. So now the cost is obviously going to lessen because it's spread over 11. So the club are obviously looking at the bigger picture in terms of the fans and helping the fans and everything. We all know incredibly tight money is for people. But if you are considering it, just to make people aware, now might be a time that it could work for you. It's available over 11 months, and I think a season ticket in the West Stand is about 150 quid or something, maybe less.
Yeah, hang on.
I'll just keep talking while Reece does his Statman thing. So I think if you are considering or are wanting to change somewhere cheaper, maybe you've got a season ticket that's seated, but you want to be standing, and just to kind of juggle your money around. The payments in direct debit are over 11 months now, so it might be a good time, if you can, to jump in and get a membership. And another thing as well, sorry, just on the direct debit thing as well that I noticed on the club's official promotion for the season ticket memberships was if you are paying via direct debit now, currently, you are renewing, you don't have to do anything. It's just going to automatically renew with the club. So if you want to cancel your season ticket, your membership, you have to get in touch with the club rather than get in touch with them because you want to renew. It's going to renew automatically if you pay via direct debit. I'm not sure. Like, won't work anyway? Because I'm a stupid idiot. Yeah, so direct debit, it's going to auto renew. Just to let people know. So if you want to cancel, please get in touch with the club to cancel.
Cool. So I've got the prices. So that was good fill. Really good fill. So Global East Stand standing and South Stand standing was 233 for an adult. Mm-hmm. If you want to sit in the wings of the Global East Stand, so that top bit, it's 279. Global East, these are last year's prices, by the way. They haven't announced if the prices are changing or not. Global East Stand Centre, 335. Tetley's South Stand Wing, 298. Centre, 372. North Stand is 298. North Stand, that's the wing, because obviously the corporate's in the middle.
Yeah.
And the West Stand is 140.
140?
Yeah.
There you go.
So, yeah.
140 over 11 months.
Please note that they are 2022's season membership prices. I don't know if they're going up. But like everything, I am assuming it is.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
But it's still quite attractive in that, you could go to every home game paying over 11 months. I'm just kind of making them aware that it is an option. I'm not telling people what to do, but
yeah.
We shall see. Yeah, good. I'll be renewing, as always, thick and thin.
Yeah. No, me and my dad have always. I text my dad saying we're doing this. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's good. My dad's actually committed to doing Magic Weekend next year.
Really?
Yeah.
And going up?
Yeah.
You do get half price tickets.
I was actually going to do that for my stag do actually, but I might do that. I might do that differently. But yeah, cool. That's it for the club roundup. Really, there's nothing really else to cover at the moment. So it's on to the mailbag.
Yeah, excellent. Just on some podcast news, we are turning this because as the season slowly grinds to a halt and a stop, just to make people aware, perhaps haven't listened to some others, we are turning this podcast into, in the off-season for the World Cup, into a World Cup England podcast where me and Reese will have new guests, different guests. So it'll be some new people that you see and hear, like not Leeds fans, just making people aware that that is happening for the World Cup. We have been speaking to a New Zealand Warriors fan who were interested in getting onto the podcast for next season, just as a bit of an NRL kind of corner-like update. We've kind of chosen New Zealand Warriors as our podcast NRL team, so we're going to be catching up with him in parts next season. But I think a good introduction to him, I don't know his name, sorry, it just won't tell me. And I think a good introduction to him and others, because I was kind of thinking like it'd be great to get, you know, a Tonga fan and a Samoa fan and just try and reach out and pull them in. I think a good place to bring this gentleman in would be around the World Cup and those type of games and the New Zealand games. So just be aware that we will be turning into a World Cup podcast in the off season. So it's now time for the mailbag. It's been a short podcast, but me and Reese have been recording 2 hours prior to this. So, you know, go easy.
We've had enough of each other, is what.
Yeah, go easy on us. So it's time for the mailbag. Shall I do mine first and then we'll have yours?
Yeah, you do yours, yeah.
Marco says, how were there still 13 men playing for Catalan in that game? I don't know if you mean a red card, Marco, but certainly 2 yellows. Without a doubt, we kind of touched on that on the review there, mate. But I don't know. Like Reece says, we just need that consistency. Yeah,
I think there's only one yellow, and that's Dean Farrow's. I don't think Castellanos was. It hit him across the shoulder. Didn't really hit. I don't know. Well, he must have hit his head if it was a HIA. But Farrow's was a clear yellow.
Yeah.
But only the RFL know, Mark, and what they know is a mystery to all of us.
It's anyone's guess. They just make it up. They're just like, they've got like a little bingo ball machine. They just kind of twist it around. What is it today, Paul? Oh, it's 5. It's 5 games. Okay.
I would love them to do a TV series like IMG coming in like Gordon Ramsay's like Hell's Kitchen or whatever. And then just coming in going, what the hell is this?
What
Yeah, that's what I kind of imagine it like.
Run out of the back of a working men's club, yeah. That's us, rugby league. Ben says, I like this message. I've actually taken a lot of positives from the Catalan result. Fair play also to the Leeds fans who went out there. I know me and Reece on the watch along, we're kind of saying there's quite a few out there, weren't the Leeds fans?
It actually looked like a good crowd in general, actually.
It did look quite positive.
But yeah, we were asking, wonder how many people have made the trip 3 times to Catalan, and then obviously once to Toulouse as well. So if anyone has done that, get yourself involved in that Leeds Building Society Fan of the Year or...
Yeah, because that's you.
Yeah, you're in it. That's incredible.
And you're minted.
Oh, you're making poor decisions.
Oh, you're in a lot of debt.
Or both.
Tyler's question, obviously music related. Since it's festival season, how about a question on some live music? I think it was Leeds Fest last weekend.
Yeah, it was. But
Leeds and Reading.
All the acts pulled out, though, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah, they lost. Rage Against the Machine pulled out because one of the AE members was ill. Maneskin pulled out, and AJ Tracy, I think, because they were wanting to go to this award ceremony. Wow. So they had to pull in 1975 in Charlie XCX.
Oh my god!
I don't like Leeds Fest personally, but I think what was the question? Sorry, is it the best live band? Is it?
What is or are some of your best ever live gigs?
Okay. Falls at Millennium Square this year was just...
Yes, you enjoyed that. Have we been asked previously? Because I swear you've said
I've just talked about it loads.
All right.
That's how much I enjoyed it. but it was Nessa introduced. Nessa's my other half. She introduced me to them, and like it was just. I've always wanted to go to a gig in Millennium Square. I don't know why. I've always wanted to do it, but the gig itself was just brilliant. Really got a really good crowd. Like there was no idiots there. Just a genuine, really good crowd. Great vibe, and the music was just brilliant. So that's definitely up there for me. I saw Stereophonics at Kendall Calling in 2017. That was brilliant as well, and I was right front and middle. Trying to do the lead salute to Kelly Jones, but he didn't see me because he's a Leeds fan. Yeah. And I also went to go see, and again, they've come up quite a few times in music ones, but U2, I went to go see them on their they did a 360 tour. I don't even remember, like in 2008-9, where they played, had a stage that sat in the middle like a 360. And they'd been to the San Siro, the Nou Camp, and I saw them at the Don Valley Stadium in Rotherham. I don't know how that. I love the back of the tour t-shirts. It was like Barcelona, Milan, Paris, Rotherham.
Of all the stadia in,
it doesn't exist anymore. I don't
in
think,
Britain,
does it? The Don Valley.
I don't think
they obviously
so,
wanted to do in the north.
The New York Stadium, isn't it? Yeah.
One of the time there wasn't one bigger. Maybe, I don't know. But that was an amazing gig. So I'd probably say they're my top three.
Mine, too many to mention, but ones that kind of resonate and stick with me. I never thought, being the age I am, I'm just under the threshold of being at the age to see the Stone Roses when they were first touring, I think they ended in 96, 97. So I missed them. And then I loved them from being a kid right up until, and I just became, I thought I'm never going to see them. I just became resigned. I'm never ever going to see the Stone Roses, and that's fine. I can live with that. And then obviously they came back. I think it was 2010, 2011, 2012, something like that. They did these gigs at Heaton Park. They did like a weekend, and I missed out on the tickets there. And I thought, right, I'm definitely not seeing them because I'm not paying a fortune just to see them. Then my wife came home from work one evening. This is like weeks afterwards, and we're like, oh my God, someone at work's got the tickets. And she said she'll sell them at face value. And I was just like, oh my God, definitely. So I kind of went to see them at Heaton Park with my wife and some friends. And that just felt like one of those moments where it was like a dream, because I never thought I'd ever see them. And then I saw them. But then off the back of that, the Stone Roses kind of released loads of really bad music and toured again. And then my father-in-law, bless him, bought us all tickets to see him at Leeds Arena. And by that point, I was just like, yeah, I'm kind of done with this. It was like a one and done type thing. But we went along, and but my wife was heavily pregnant at the time of our first child as well. And we sat there watching it, and me and my wife were just laughing because they were just so bad. Just these men, just too old to be, I don't know, doing what they were doing. But the crowd loved it, but it was just, I don't know, it was like a vibe the first time, and then the second time it just missed. But I'm very much like that. I'm all in on like a band, and then they'll get to a point and I chop them off. I'm like, I'm done with them, and I don't like, similar with Arctic Monkeys. I kind of fell into Arctic Monkeys, not in the literal sense, but I went to see another band at Faversham in Leeds years ago, when I was in college, years and years ago. And Arctic Monkeys were supporting the band that we went to see. And they kind of gave us a CD at the end to say, oh, we're Arctic Monkeys. We all took the CD away as college kids. I'm really going on a tangent here, sorry. And played it, and we're just like, who the fuck are they? We're just like, what is that? What is that? We need more of that. And then we just followed Arctic Monkeys.
What was on the CD? What song?
Bigger Boys and Stolen Sweethearts, Cigarette Smoker Fiona. There was another one, When the Sun Goes Down, but I think they called it Scummy Man or something. There were like 3 songs on it, and there was another one I can't quite remember.
Do you remember the name of the band you were actually going to see?
I never can, because I had this argument with my old college friend. I think, because this did happen at least once, I think it was the the Sheffield band Milburn, who ended up.
Oh yeah.
You might know them. They got quite
seen
popular. Yeah, you've probably seen them, but they ended up supporting Arctic Monkeys a lot. And we definitely went to one gig where that happened, where Milburn were the main act, and then they kind of switched, they became more popular. But we kind of jumped on Arctic Monkeys and just followed them everywhere. Because one of my friends at college had a car, so we're just like, right, they're playing in Nottingham. So after college, we just get in the car and just drive to Nottingham with the tickets we had. See them in Nottingham, Derby, Liverpool. I've seen Arctic Monkeys 19 times. The last time I saw them was in 2007 at the Lancashire Cricket Ground. And we saw them twice that weekend. They had some amazing support. Amy Winehouse, one of the support. So I've seen her, the Coral, Girls Aloud. And again, coming away from that gig on, I think we saw them on the Friday and Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday. Coming away the second time, similar to that time I saw Stone Roses, I just felt, that's it. I'm done. You know, they're never going to get better than that. And I kind of touched on the podcast, I think it was last week, that I love the song Cornerstone, which I still do. But I think that were their peak, and I was just like, I'm finished with Arctic Monkeys. But probably those two, I've gone on a real 20-minute tangent there. I do apologise, everybody. I lost you.
Going back to mine about you two, Jacko's just commented, or Jack rather, just commented saying, I'm a Rotherham fan, and the pitch after that U2 gig at the Don Valley was worse than Catalans tonight.
Well, worse
How
than the
did we
pitch?
not mention the pitch?
We didn't even mention the pitch. The pitch was awful.
Oh God. But yeah, you just reminded me of another band actually that was in a different way. Where it was one of my favourite gigs, and big fan of a band called Red Run Club that are from Liverpool. Really, really good. They've not really hit big time. I've got about 4 of their signed vinyls up there. Awesome band, and I saw them back at Kendall Calling in 2018. I want to say, and every time I've come to Leeds, I've seen them. But and every time they've come, they played at a bigger place in Leeds.
Slowly growing.
They've got Wardrobe, they've done Brudenell, and then they did, where did we see them last time? At Leeds Uni. It was the last time I saw them. But the last gig I saw them, instead of getting in amongst it, I kind of just stood back and just enjoyed it. And on the balcony at Leeds Uni, if anyone's ever been there. And it was just kind of like, God, how big have these guys come now? Like, I saw them at the Vinyl Whistle in Headingley. In that little place in there, and now it was like a proud dad. It was one of my favourite gigs because I just stood back.
I swear, I was literally just about to say that. You feel like you've seen. That's how I felt. Sorry to jump. That's how I felt. Not about Stone Roses. That was a dream. That's how I felt about the Arctic Monkeys one. You know, exactly as you say. I'd seen him in all these smelly. I'm not showing off at all. I'm not bothered. I'd seen him in all, and then to see him do the big. Yeah. Like you have, I was just like, oh, they've done it. I felt like I was saying, they don't need me anymore. They're okay. Like a proud dad, exactly. They're 18 now.
Because certain the gigs I've always spoke to them after as well, and I got invited to their second album launch during COVID and stuff on Zoom. And I can drop them a message and just say, and they'll reply and stuff. But it's really like I just say, like, when I do a grazing gig or I hear stuff, but it's just, it is like I was probably one of my other favorite gigs, just because it was like, wow, these guys are actually really taking off now.
They've done it.
Yeah, I can stop plugging them at every opportunity. Like, honestly, all the time I was like, guys, listen to this band. By the way, Tyler, well done. You've won the award for the largest and biggest response to a mailbag
ever in a mailbag.
Can you tell we like music?
I think Tyler might feel, after my answer, they might feel, that's enough of the music questions. Brian says, I could not believe, as always, sorry. Tyler, music, Brian, films. Brian says, I could not believe James or Reese have never heard of the Lost Boys. Last week, Brian asked us about favourite film soundtracks and music. And I said Lost Boys, and James and Reese just kind of...
Well, one is 1987.
Drew me a blank.
And 2, Lord of the Rings is the best film score music of all time.
Well,
sorry, Brian.
That is debatable. Both of them need to watch it as soon as possible. It is a really, really, really good film.
Okay.
On that note, what are some of your favourite vampire films? It's a vampire film, by the way, Reese. Favourite vampire films?
Trying to think of vampire films now that I've seen. I remember the terrible one. There was a really, really bad one with David Tennant in. That was dreadful.
You need to watch the original. That's Fright Night.
Fright Night, yeah.
Watch
Fright
the
Night.
original.
God, that was dreadful. It was only good because David Tennant was in it. Other than that, it was dreadful after that. I'm going to say Van Helsing.
I like that.
It's the first
really
one that
like
came to
that.
my mind. I think it's a brilliant movie. So
I
Van
really like
Helsing.
that film. God, that you've plucked that from the. I completely forgot about that film. I really like that. Hugh Jackman and what's that woman called? Kate Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah, I really like that film.
Yeah, that's the first thing that came into mind when I did it. And I've just Googled vampire films, and Dark Shadows could be up there, actually.
It's on my list.
Yeah. Is Twilight on your list?
No. I've got Fright Night, Near Dark, Blade, Wesley Snipes. The soundtrack on Blade is really good.
Yeah, it is. I've not watched it. But
Salem's Lot. I love that. I love Lost Boys. I love... What's the John Carpenter one? I think it's just Vampires with James Wood. That's good. But one of my favourites that I still... It's an amazing film and I just think it gets overlooked or forgotten, I'll say, is From Dusk Till Dawn. You must have seen that. Have you not seen From Dusk Till Dawn?
Nope.
Oh my goodness! You need to go on a vampire film.
Oh, it's Tarantino, is it?
Tarantino's in it. It's Robert Rodriguez. It's good, really good. So what's yours? Sorry, Van Helsing.
Van Helsing.
It's a good film. It is a good film. Liam asks, I missed out on the Cam Smith Appreciation Society badges. Which badges are you going to be doing next? We don't know.
Well, Cam plugged Jared, didn't he? He was like, Jared should get it next.
Yeah, he plugged a Jared O'Connor Appreciation Society. But that whole badge thing, Reese, it just kind of ballooned and snowballed, didn't it?
It was a bit of a joke. But the Appreciation Society wasn't a joke, but having the badges was a bit of a joke. And then we ended up ordering 80 to 100, was it?
80 now, completely sold out. And people still texting me, DMing me saying, do you have any more? Like 4? And I'm like, no, we're done.
Whoever scores the winning try in the grand final can have the next Appreciation Society.
They can have the next one. Cam's got this one. Maybe one a year. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it becomes a Player of the Year award instead.
Yeah, they get their appreciation. I don't know, Liam. It was just like an
off the
not something that we planned. It was just like me and Reese were talking on a podcast. We spoke about him well, especially Reese in terms of Cam. I kind of said, I feel like Reese is the founding member of the Cam Smith fan club. That next morning, we released the match review pod, as we always do. And then I just knocked up a little badge thing and people were saying, oh my God, is this going to be available? Yeah, this. Reese is showing it on screen. And then from there, but who knows? Maybe we'll do some more. We don't know. But I am a fan of doing things like in limited numbers, so it becomes like of
a positive nature.
Yeah, and so if we do something like that again, strike early because there'll only be a limited number of things available, I think. Carl says, kind of touched on the World Cup earlier. Looking forward to the World Cup version of the podcast. Will there be a new intro? Yeah, there will. There'll be a new intro. There'll be some new intro music. I don't know what it is yet.
I'm still trying to think of a famous England commentary, but all I can think of is Brian Noble shouting "no" when Sean Johnson went over in 2000.
Maybe it might have to do that then if that's the most popular. No. Yeah, there'll be a new intro, definitely, Carl. We don't know what it is yet. We haven't worked on it. Kind of flirted with.
It was Brian Noble that did that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
The BBC, wasn't it, Brian Noble?
God, I remember that. Oh,
yeah, it might probably be that now. Just to link back to this. Yeah, there'll be a new intro. We're looking forward to it. A question from me is pet hates, insignificant things that annoy you. And I think this is something that could just run into the next mailbag as I kind of think of more little things. Because this, for instance, me and my wife were walking around Leeds yesterday. It were really, really busy because of like Leeds Fest and it's been a bank holiday, which is fine. We've got 3 kids, so we've got a double pram and then a single pram. Now, we go into lifts because we need to use lifts because there's loads of us and we're kids. So we go into a lift and it's packed. I'm sorry, but there's no space in the lift. And people still insist who don't need to use lifts to queue and wait for lifts. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is really, really, really annoying me. That I don't know why you won't just use the escalator. Like in Leeds Trinity, there's loads of opportunities to use stairs and things. I'm like, so that got me thinking, like, that's one of my pet hates. Another one is like driving. Reece, you drive, don't you?
I do, yeah.
People, I think the real pandemic here is people indicating. People just don't indicate anymore. Do you feel the same?
I know what you mean, because I had a couple of choice words with someone the other day, actually. But
that's the real pandemic. People not indicating at all. And then another pet peeve of mine is when you let someone out, when someone lets you out, when you let someone merge, you've got to give some indication that you're thankful. The little wave, the hazard lights, you flash your lights to say. I mean, I let someone out of a junction that were busy coming onto some temporary traffic lights on a road. I bet they've been waiting there ages, and I let them out and got nothing. I'm like, no recognition at all, no little wave, no hazard lights, absolutely no. You got any pet peeves, Reece?
yeah, loads. People that can't walk in town. You know, people that are just stop right in front of you.
Yeah.
That annoys me. Or people that walk really slowly, just
bang.
for no reason. Yeah, or just stop and then I end up walking to
Not like stop and move.
Yeah, just stop.
Not be like, oh, I might want to go in that shop. Or, oh, I need that bank card. Let me stop and move away from the line of traffic. Just stop dead and be like, oh, sorry.
Robbie's just commenting now, saying back to your thing about the lift, saying he's in a wheelchair and so many people queue for lifts that don't need it. You can walk up the steps.
Robbie, we're on the same page. Unbelievable.
So yeah, the walking thing is one that really annoys me. Oh God, there could be loads of things really for me. People that hang their dog poos on trees.
On trees?
Like it's a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
That winds me up massively. As a pet peeve. What else is there as well? Now, people in the office that not necessarily don't make people a drink, but make a point about the fact why they don't make other people a drink.
Yeah. You don't want to make anyone a drink. Stop being a...
Don't tell everyone.
don't. We all know you're an honourable bastard. You don't have to tell everybody.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah. So I think they're the walking one's a big one for me. It really annoys me because... because when people just stop in front of you, then you're behind. It's
Another one of mine is like when people say, "You'll be fine. You'll be having a nice day. You'll be fine," and then they say, "Are you okay? Are you all right? Are you all right, you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why?" And then it kind of snowballs and takes an effect. We end up saying, "No, I'm in a mood now." Why are you in a mood? Because you just keep asking me if I'm okay, and I was okay, but now I'm pissed off because you annoyed me. That's one of mine. Another one is people who feel the need to comment. It hasn't happened to us for ages, but I saw who feel the need to comment, strangers to comment on people's crying kids. There's no one more bothered or kind of flustered than the parent of the kid that's crying. So please do not go over and offer your comment. It's not helpful at all. Just leave them alone. They are more flustered and embarrassed and, about that situation than you ever will be. So don't go over and say, "Oh, someone's upset. You think he might be hungry?" Just leave the parent alone, for God's sake. And another one.
I've got another office one. People that bring smelly food into the office.
Yeah,
and
microwave
it. We have a break room. Go eat your smelly food in there. That's what a break room's for. Don't bring it back to your desk or you're working and then it stinks out of salmon or fish for the rest of the afternoon.
It's always fish. Yeah.
It's always fish.
It's always last night's tuna bacon, it rings.
Yeah. And the other side of that pet peeve is that when it smells bloody good, I don't want to eat my food then.
Yeah.
When I've got this little...
Food envy.
Yeah. So it works both ways on that.
Food envy. I've done that before at work. We ordered No, sorry, we bought some, like, you can get them in Costco's. They're like massive. It's like just a massive platter of wraps that they've made, like fresh. You know, me and my wife got one of them, and we were just like, yeah, we'll just eat that for tea. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to take it to work, and that looks amazing. And then I got to work, and the bloke I was working with at the time, I was like, oh, should we have some dinner? He said, oh, I haven't brought it. And I said, oh, no, I haven't either. I thought, there's no way am I sitting here and eating these 2 wraps thinking, I can give him one, but then I'll be starving. We'll both just starve instead. But I think that's a good question. That could continue, that one. Neil says, a fanzine, a podcast, a Twitter account. So you are just copying the square ball. Pretty much, yeah. That's the line of thinking here.
Copy success, right?
Yeah. I mean,
we are still different because they don't have guests on the match review panels like we do and stuff. But you know, it's a good model. It works.
It's a good model, and listen, Neil.
We do things our own way.
Yeah, we are the Rhinos equivalent, if you'd like, and me and Reese both are square ball fans. I think a lot of people listening to this who are Leeds fans are square ball fans, so there is a theme. But square ball aren't the only fanzine, Twitter, podcast out there. I'm sure anyone that's a Liverpool fan or a Newcastle fan, I think each club predominantly football has their own version of that. And you agree, Reese, that they've got?
Yeah. I think they will. I'm not sure. I don't know any other rugby league fanzines at the moment.
No, I don't think. In terms of rugby league, there's still massive gaps in the market.
There are definitely, from a football perspective, the big clubs will have something.
Most version of the square, but the square ball is legitimately. It's a standard that, to get to that standard is unbelievable. But yeah, if you think we're copying them, then we are. Proudly admit it, Neil. Don't worry about it.
But with our own spin.
Yeah, but with our own version. Georgia says, both being Leeds fans, Eddie and Reese, what do you think of the new black and orange Leeds United kit?
Bloody horrible. Get rid.
It's a good job we don't have any other guests because George is just kind of, unless they mean our possible guests might not have been Leeds fans. I love it, Georgie. Do you not like it, Reese?
I think it's horrendous.
Oh, I love it.
What's wrong? I get these kits and stuff, but I'm actually just looking at it to right now. Can we not just have one white kit, one yellow kit, and one blue kit?
Yeah, that would be. You see, if you imagine that kit, for anyone that hasn't seen it, it's like it's a black kit. It's got like almost faded stripes on it.
Yeah. It's like a dark grey and a black. I take great offence with the badges being in the middle. So it's Adidas in the middle top and then the Leeds badge underneath. And then it's the sponsor underneath. And I take great offence to that. I don't know why. I just don't really like it. And I'm going to keep rambling on because Eddie's computer's definitely just reset. And it's just me talking right now. So I'm going to carry on with the mailbag whilst Lottie comes back, hopefully, in the next 5-10 minutes. Rhino's Faithful tweeted us saying, should have done the watch along, mate, while the game was on. We did do that. That turned out to be not the best idea at all. It looks like Eddie's just about to come back in. Give us 2 seconds.
Bit of filler there for you, Reese.
I had to do a bit of filler there. I moved on to my side of the mailbag. I just did Rhino's Faithful's tweet because Rhino's Faithful said, should have done the watch along, mate, while the game was on. And I've told him that was a terrible question.
Thanks a lot, Rhinos Faithful. That would a great idea.
Was that the end of your mailbag, or did you have some more?
No, I've got some more. Just on the Leeds kit before I got cut off. It's this laptop, honestly. It's like black, but the badges in the centre.
I did it. I told them. I said I took great offense to it. Football shirts shouldn't look like that.
If you can, but I think if you can imagine, like Reece said, with the blue, white, yellow, if that black top was blue, it'd look even better.
Yeah, no, you're probably right.
I think I've got one more.
Okay.
No, I've got 2 more. Ben says, is anyone else actually looking forward to us playing against Saints? Under Rowan, I genuinely believe we would have a chance. I think we've got more of a chance than we had under Agar, don't you, Reece?
Yeah, I mean, Saints have been, not that I want to flatter them too much or certain individual too much, but Saints have been the best team for 3 years. They've won it 3 years and about. So you want to be winning against the best teams, and Saints have been the best teams for the last 3 years. So, but we're a different side now, so I'd love to see how badly we'd beat them.
I guess we'll find out at Old Trafford.
Yeah. It's the usual thing, isn't it?
Yeah, usual thing. Leeds turn up, eat Saints, see you later. Will says, I have to admit, I'm sad to see Brad Dwyer and Liam Sutcliffe leave. I just hope we don't regret them both leaving us. Do you think we'll regret Brad Dwyer and Liam Sutcliffe, or do you think it's a possibility?
Well, there'll be a tradition of them scoring against us in the first game against us. Yeah. So that we'll have to get that out of the way first.
Get that out of the system.
Yeah. I'm certainly more upset about Liam Sutcliffe than Brad. We said earlier, I love Brad's running game. I love the injection of pace he brings. But sometimes I think he lacks a bit of composure. Sometimes his passing just isn't where it needs to be. Yeah. And that does let us down sometimes. So I think for me, Brad is hit and miss. You get the good and the bad. At the moment, we've seen a lot of the good, and he's been part of the reason why we're winning. You know, he scored lots of tries recently. Liam, I'm more gutted about. Leeds lad, versatile. I think he's a really good, strong centre. So if we need, I don't think Max is quite ready to replace him yet. And obviously, I don't think we haven't got another kid that's available to probably replace him yet. So I'm assuming a signing will be coming in, or at least I hope, because I think Liam will be tougher to replace than Brad.
I think Will, it's a case of looking at the excitement of who we're going to bring in, especially in centre. That's kind of getting me through it. The fact that they've let Sutcliffe go, I was kind of here or there whether he was staying or not. Wasn't particularly bothered, to be honest. But the fact that he's gone, Sutcliffe, says to me, we've got a centre coming in. So that is exciting to me. I'd rather have a replacement than Liam Sutcliffe, is what I'm saying. So I'm kind of looking more forward to who Rowan brings in rather than keeping Liam Sutcliffe. That's my mailbag, Reese.
Cool. So just going quicker to the comments, Daniel said in here, first time I've been able to watch live, but listen to the pods, loving them. Keep it up. Thanks very much, Daniel, for that.
Cheers, Dan.
And then going to the questions. So one question we kind of already discussed, John Winter said, should Pryor be in a 17 for Sunday? Saturday? God, I cannot read all bloody...
He'll have to be, won't he? I mean,
that was probably going to be my response.
He'll have to be, yeah.
Because I suspect, given how previous teams have been announced, I suspect Muzz will probably drop out.
Yeah.
If we've got more players back,
I think he'll have to be, John, just for bodies. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't see Walters and Muzz being in a team 17 and Pryor not.
No,
just based on team selections we've done. Personally, I would rather have Walters and Muzz in at the moment.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah. On that same sort of lines, Richard Stockdale asks, why do we keep naming squads of 19 or 20 when we could give an academy kid a real boost and incentive by naming them in a 21? Now, Richard, I think you're probably closer to the youngsters in the academy setup.
Yeah, Richard is.
You know much more about them than us. So
yeah, definitely.
What I would be interested in, throwing a question back to you, Richard, is which kids do you think deserve that chance to be?
Which are ready? I know Richard watches a lot of reserves.
Yeah, and which ones are ready? Because I'd be really interested to know. Why did you take offence to the fact that we're not doing that? Do you understand it?
I understand it, and I think in a way I don't know why we aren't doing it, even if they're not going to.
I think it's important to be part of the match day experience, isn't it?
Yeah, just being around.
Especially if it's not a reserves game on that weekend or an under-18s game, like just for them to be part of that, being in the pre-match warm-ups, being there throughout the day, just
flying out to Catalan, taking all that journey.
It brings it back into the reserves. So I don't know, Richard. I think it would be good if we did.
I think it'd be a really good idea because it'd be like if they went to Catalan, like Reece says, involved in the warm-up, the flight, the whole journey. They then go back to the reserve setup, the academy setup, and kind of say, wow.
Yeah.
it was this, and this.
That
All those,
isn't it? That professionalism.
exactly. All those players in that academy now are like, wow, I want to do that. I want to get to that. And like Reece says, that incentive and trying to progress through and be nurtured through to the top. No, it should be done, without a doubt. Why it isn't done, I don't know.
Cheeky Diddles, great name, asks, is Alford's going to be the slowest winger we've ever had? Now, I've seen another tweet about this somewhere else, and someone replied saying, no, because we've got David Fussy Tua. I think if anyone has not seen the Castleford-Salford highlights from earlier, this has probably come from the fact that Alford had an interception and didn't make it, and was caught by Sneed, wasn't it?
Caught by Mark Sneed, a bloke running in cement boots. I don't know how Daryl Alford were caught by him. I don't know.
Well, I still hope the signing's not going to happen. He's been
we
told,
kind of discussed this on the watch along, didn't we?
Yeah,
we hope that
confirmed that he's going, but no one's confirmed they've signed him yet. So
I feel the longer it goes, although he has been released now, I felt like the rumor was kind of announced, and then it's just been nothing until now. It felt like a long period of time, but I'm still genuinely fingers crossed that it doesn't sign for us. Just because of the, like we said on the watch along, just the length of the deal. That's the issue.
Yeah. Monsieur Rouge, which is also Neil Scarlett, he's obviously changed his name for today. Oh, I don't remember him being Monsieur Rouge before. But he's asked, travelling on the day, is that contributing to slow starts in France? See, I didn't like this when I found out they did this for the Catalan game previously. It didn't feel like the best start to a game, or just the best run into it. I didn't like it, and obviously we won last game, so I'm not really. I kind of mentioned it, but wasn't bothered about it. I think there is an argument to say yes.
I think
because you've got to get into the airport, me in the stadium, getting to the airport, waiting in the airport, flying, and doing all that.
I think it's one of those where it
costs money, doesn't it?
Yeah, it obviously costs money, and we are in an incredibly
in football. It wouldn't matter. Chelsea were complaining about having to take a luxury bus up because the coach couldn't fit on a plane or whatever. We don't have that luxury in rugby league.
I feel like I know previously, not even that long in memory, really, that the club have stayed in a hotel, overnight, and then kind of done it, stayed over, and then come back
the day of the game.
But then, in terms of, I'm kind of thinking as a head coach here for a second, you kind of feel then, are the players then getting into mentality that this is a bit of a jolly, Because when you are on holiday, it's kind of hard mixing business with pleasure. I don't know, I'm putting two and two together. So I then have the thought, right, we'll fly in and fly out same day. But then to me, the effects of, leaving your home, flying to France, meeting up with your team, flying to France, playing the game, all the logistics of that, flying back and then getting home again that evening, you'll be absolutely shattered. Them players, whatever time they get home tonight, they will be absolutely knackered.
Yeah, especially after the game they had on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a lot, hell of a lot. And then I think that's why Rome was so incredibly pleased off the back of the Toulouse loss. Then we flew back and then battered Wigan. It's like, we've had such a short turnaround, and he'll know just how tired they are. I think it's one of those catch.
I think you're probably right, Neil, and I hope that we have a rest now before.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
Give him a week off.
Neil's second question is, will this year's grand final be won by the team with the least injuries and suspensions, or the best team?
The best team for me. I'm always a big believer of the best team wins on the night. I don't know how you feel.
It's the best. It's the best squad, isn't it? The best squads get to there. We know injuries have existed in rugby league for a long, long time. It's always been a physical game. So obviously the suspensions have added to that. I think it will certainly play a factor whoever we play against in the grand final. Who's there, who's not. I was waiting for the reaction. You didn't say anything, and I was like, yeah. But yeah, it's certainly gonna. there will be a player who misses out, if not two, or on either side,
But
that
yeah,
will miss out on the grand final because of a suspension, not just an injury. But on the day, the best team should win. But
it is, and it's also
it depends what squad they've got available that can back up the players they've got. So, like Salford, they're playing amazing at the moment.
Yeah.
But if they lost Callum, if they lost Bodie Croft, do they have the same talent that comes in
to jump in? It's also about the mentality of who's the players that are playing for you in that. Like, do you remember 2017 when Cass running away with it? As soon as we got to the grand final, every Leeds fan that I know, I ever spoke to in the build up to that, knew we were going to win that game because of our mentality. Even though we had Joe Moon and Danny in the halves, everyone knew we were still, and no matter how good Cass was, I do think it's kind of that who's playing for you and how key they are.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Adam Reese has asked, he spells Reese right in his name. That's good. Sorry, Reese, R-H-Y-S, the Welsh.
R-H-Y-S.
The proper way.
When people, just as a side note, 90% of the time I'm going to say Reese, when people spell your name to me in the mailbag to the lot pod. Yeah.
Funny thing, that's my mum's maiden name.
Really? How about
my mum wanted to call me Yayin or Yestin.
Really? You could have been Yestin?
And my dad, who is from Beeston, said no. But he accepted the Welsh version of my mum's maiden name. So there you go. Random story for you all there. They probably didn't need to know that. Adam Reese has asked, what do you have on your plate for a carvery? Right, let's break this down. First question.
Now you all thought the music question were long.
What meat do you have?
Beef.
Mm. I quite like lamb. I do enjoy lamb.
I'm kind of thinking going to a carvery. It's very rare.
I'm going to a carvery. Yeah, sorry, you're right. If I'm going to a carvery, it'll probably be beef.
Yeah.
If I'm doing it,
I do agree with you with
either lamb or pork belly. I do enjoy pork belly. Obviously Yorkshire puddings, right?
Yep.
Right.
As many as I can get my hands on.
Exactly. Now, the veg. Now, this is quite important. This is more important than people think. For me, there's definitely some cauliflower cheese on there.
I don't like cauliflower cheese.
Broccoli cheese? Cauliflower broccoli cheese?
No.
How can you not like something that's got cheese sauce all over it?
I'm not a big fan of cheese.
I'd like to announce my resignation from the Lot
Let's
pod.
just end this broadcast. Cancel the podcast. The cat's out the bag.
Cauliflower broccoli cheese on there straight away. Enjoy myself some carrots, maybe some garlic greens some there, like either beans or like spring greens. I love spring greens; they're really nice. A bit of roast parsnip as well. Honey roast parsnip.
Oh my god! Actually. Now you're talking my language.
Yeah. Actually, get rid of the other carrots and put the honey roast parsnip and carrots.
Christ,
yeah. That's where I'm going with this.
Making me hungry.
Obviously, gravy.
Bucket loads of gravy. I love broccoli. Don't you like broccoli?
I love broccoli, but I put cheese on it.
Oh, you do, don't you?
Cheese sauce.
I love broccoli without the cheese. What's that? I'm thinking cabbage. I love cabbage. I love white cabbage. That's nice. I don't like sprouts. I don't like sprouts. What's that? Oh my god!
Shred Brussels sprouts and cook it in a cream sauce. Oh
god! Imagine Reese on an evening after he ate that. Jesus Christ!
Should have seen it after the curry on Saturday.
What am I thinking? What am I thinking about? I'm going to completely blank. What's that mushy orange veg? It's disgusting. Swede. Awful.
Oh, I love Swede.
So mine would be absolutely key. Roast potatoes. Not a fan of boiled. Like Reese says.
Oh, bollocks. How can I forget about roast potatoes? Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yorkshire.
Garlic and parmesan roast potatoes as well.
Beef. Loads of gravy. Broccoli, cabbage, carrots, parsnips. That's 8 items.
If you go to Toby Carvery in the morning, they do gravy for breakfast, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah. I think they do Yorkshire puds as well.
That is interesting.
That used to be our hangover cure on a Sunday after going to Toba Carver in the morning. Adam's second question is: if you were IMG, what are the priorities that you'd change or keep in rugby league from next season onwards? Adam has answered his own question and has said mine would be keep to lose in Super League.
Correct.
Where are you
Keep
going with
to lose. Keep Toulouse in there, and what would that give us? We'd need another side, won't we? I would have said Newcastle, but they've now confirmed that they're actually going part-time, aren't they, from next year?
Yeah.
Feels like they're slipping away from us fingers. So probably London then, to grab them from the doldrums and try and bring them back up, because the fact that the league have constantly let London slip away is diabolical, to be honest. So those two back in. And then,
I'd do something similar. I'd close the league off, keep Toulouse in, make the other two teams apply for it, but give it to. You know what? I'd probably give it to Bradford. Get the RFL out of Bradford first. Find them a good investor. Get them back into Super League. So we've actually got a decent derby, because those Castle don't matter. So bring Bradford back. London, a toss up then between London, York, and Newcastle for me. Ring fence it.
York as well, of course.
Yeah, so ring fence it after that for 3 years, and then those two, and then I just think I'd just close it off after that. I think, to be honest. And then my other priority would be to create a rule book and ask the referees to keep consistent with it. And I'd get rid of the Luke fixtures, and I'd keep the Magic Weekend, but I wouldn't make it a Luke fixture. I'd just choose around where it would be at Magic, and somehow you'd have to compensate the teams that lost a home game as a result of it somehow. Yeah. But that's what I'd do.
Yeah, good idea. I agree.
And in true fashion, our last questions will be from, what did I call him last week? Larry.
Good old Larry.
Good old Larry. His first question is, what is the best pie filling?
Oh.
You had a crisis then.
Oh, God.
But the first thing I want to say about this before I let you answer this is, Prime Minister, I know it's a chain, but God, that's great for lunch. Have you ever been to a Prime Minister restaurant? Oh.
No, I haven't. I don't think I have. I remember my cousins waxed lyrical about it loads. I don't think I've ever.
They do a good pie.
It's probably just a classic meat and tatty. But I think like anything else, they're quite few and far between in what's good and what's bad.
So there's two that I really like, and that one's kind of goes back to last week actually. Beef and Stilton. Do love blue cheese. But I also really like chicken and mushroom. And I know you don't like mushroom because you're like mushroom. But yeah, I think that'll probably be mine. I had a Wilson's pie actually for a while.
You haven't?
No, I had a fish and chips before the game the other week. Which game was it? Warrington, actually behind the south stand, and it actually was all right. Larry's second question is, when are we starting the campaign for another pink kit next season? I'm going to put that on hold because it clearly only doesn't work in France that well.
Yes, it's like a magical. When it leaves the UK, the kit just drains of all its power.
Well,
which is cheating, really.
Sky still had it as blue, didn't they, halfway through the game?
Oh, that were it. Yeah, you're right. You brought that up. Well, you brought.
Yeah. Just so you know, people will know this, but when you're on Sky, obviously, it puts the team names and it puts the colours that you're playing in, doesn't it? So Catalan were in white. We should have been in pink, and we were in blue for half of it.
Blue.
And at half time, they changed it to pink. So we are influencing more than you think.
In pink.
And Larry's last question, I'm going to keep calling him Larry just because I know that I'll wind him up. Is there any sports stadium where you can say you've watched a game from every stand or each stand? I don't think there is for me. Not even Headingley. Headingley, I've only ever done the south or the east. Yeah, never done the North, never done the West.
Never done the West. I've done all Headingley many times. I've done all Ellen Road apart from.
I haven't done the South at Ellen Road.
I haven't done the Cheese Wedge, the southeast corner.
Yeah, I've done the Cheese Wedge. I haven't done the South.
When I had a season ticket for United and used to go through that period, the Cheese Wedge used to be away fans.
Definitely.
Never the opportunity to get in there. Apart from that, that dump, Old Trafford, I think it's that TV stand, whatever that is. So there's like.
I haven't been in the stand where they do the trophy lifting at Old Trafford.
Where they do what?
You know where they lift the trophy? Not the big stand, the smaller stand. I don't think I've sat in there.
I've been in there.
I must have done both ends because of the grand finals.
You've definitely been in both ends.
And then I went in the really big stand for the World Cup final in 2013, but I haven't done the one opposite that.
The one I haven't done there is that big one. Is it the?
I have
the Taggart stand. The TV, from you can see on telly.
Yeah, I got sat in the top tier of that for the World Cup final because it was like 20 quid, and it took bloody forever to get up there.
You get to the top, like St James's Park.
And then got there, there was a bloody bottle of Singer beer. I was like, oh Christ. I actually think the only stadium I've watched a game from every stand is Wembley.
Is Wembley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've been for the NFL 3 times and I've been for the Challenge Cups. And I used to go watch England as well there. And I'm pretty confident I've done everyone at Wembley. You've
done all at Wembley. Yeah. I bet many people have.
Good question, that.
No, how many times have I been there? I can't remember where I've sat there, to be honest. Have I been there?
I feel like I have. I'd have to go back. But I feel like I have done it every stand at Wembley.
You see, because what we kind of mentioned it previously about opening from next year when we kind of slice these podcasts up, because this mailbag on its own has been like an hour again nearly, or 45 minutes, 50 minutes. It's kind of growing into something.
And we don't want to not ask the question either. We don't want to get to that stage.
No, precisely. So from next year, we're going to slice, like, as we said before, the match review and then a preview, slice, club news, something else, mailbag. We're going to chop it up. We haven't decided fully yet. But we do want more engagement when we do release the mailbag kind of on its own and say, right, that you're a podcast by yourself. We want more interaction. So questions like this, we're going to ask on Twitter. So for instance, we're going to ask for questions for the mailbag that can be answered by everybody. And then there's more involvement. So we can kind of ask a question on this podcast for the next mailbag and it rolls on and we get answers and more involvement. And I think a question like this would be perfect for that type of mailbag. It might be something we have to bring up again. And because some people will have lived in foreign countries and done.
Yeah, there's to be really interesting stories to that. Yeah. That's a good question. I am actually interested in what people's responses to that. But that is the end of the mailbag.
That's the mailbag. That's the end of the podcast. That's the end of 4 hours of me and Reese recording. Solid.
It is true that me and Lottie spend more time with each other recently, especially for the interviews, than we do with our other half.
My wife said this today. She said, "Who's on the podcast?" And I said, "Oh, it's just me and Reese because we're doing this massive watch along thing, so we're just kind of getting through it together." And Harriet said, I could walk past this man. I've never even seen him before. I could walk past him in the street, and yet it's it's your second husband. It's the new man in our life. I'm like, yeah, you don't even know him.
It's a modern world. It's a modern world, Eddie. Anything's possible.
Modern world, where we are. Right, just to finish up, as always, thanks for your help today, Reese, and everything.
No, pleasure.
In the watch along and in this. Thanks everybody for watching the watch along, for watching this, for listening to this, for engaging, etc. We will be back with Danica on Wednesday as we record this. It might be a bit time stamped if you're listening beyond that, and then possibly an other guest. We'll kind of pin that to the board for the time being. But Castleford, A win, Reese. A scoreline. Leeds by
32.
Oh, the Deluxe.
It's going to be a bumper crowd. We'll have players back. They thrive on a crowd like that at Headingley. They'll get behind. We'll get behind them. They'll love it. We'll run rampant and win out.
And win it easy peasy. I agree. Yeah. What did you say? 32.
32. Yeah.
I'll go to 40. I'll say Leeds by 40. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for listening. And yeah, we'll see you on the next Lot Pod. See you soon.
See you later.